Hey, what's up, everybody? This is BlakeBar2 here, bringing y'all another gameplay commentary. Today, I got some Guild Wars 2. This is gonna be like my review on the game. I've played it for a little over a week now, so I think I got a pretty good standing on the game. And in the background, what you're watching is some PvP in Guild Wars 2. I'm playing a warrior, so as an FYI. Some of the things about Guild Wars 2 that I particularly like is the PvP. I think that's one of the more exciting and fun. It's very quick. The matches don't last more than 15 minutes. Or actually, they can't last more than 15 minutes because of the timer, but they usually last, I would say, 10 minutes at least. This one does last 10 minutes, so yeah. And they're very competitive, and because you have to do a trials thing before you get into actual PvP game, everybody knows how to play and everybody knows how to like capture points and finish people off, etc., etc. So it's very competitive, and it's just overall one of the aspects of Guild Wars 2 that I find fun. Now next is the as far as PvE goes. When I was playing, one of the main, you have your questing, right? You have your main storyline, which is questing, but instead of like a question mark and exclamation point, they have like this green northern star looking thing, and that's your storyline, that's your main quest. And then they have these other quests which have like hearts above their heads. People who have hearts above their heads means like if you do a quest for them, then you gain karma points, and karma is a type of currency you can use to buy items from it. And whenever you do one of those heart quests, like 9 times out of 10, a dynamic event will also occur. So not only will you be leveling up through this quest, but you'll also be leveling up from the dynamic event. In dynamic events, when I saw gameplay of Guild Wars 2, I thought that dynamic events would only happen every so often. They happen quite frequently, and most of them are chain reactions. You do one dynamic event, and then it leads into another one, and then into another one, and then they usually end by having a boss for you to battle. And I found that really cool in the sense that you don't have to do them first and foremost. It doesn't like lock you into an area to make you do them, and it also grades you on participation. If I've been there the entire game, the entire event chain, killing all the mobs or whatever, then you get a gold medal, and you'll get, a high amount of XP, karma points, and experience. But let's say I just joined like a minute in, then you'll get a bronze medal, but since you participated, you'll still get some XP, some karma points, etc., etc. And so I found that cool that they do have the ranking. That way people can't just come in and get like the same rewards or the same bonuses as someone who's been there the entire time. As far as, that's about it for PvE. Well, okay, not yet, but in PvE, I know in like almost all the starting areas and throughout leveling and going through new areas, you'll find it's like the major event. It's like this boss battle that drops a chest full of loot. It usually contains like the 6 to 7 items. People complain that there were no raids on here on Guild Wars 2. That WoW had raids, but Guild Wars 2 didn't, and so people didn't like that. But these huge boss battles usually have 15 to 20 people there. All of them. And each boss has their own unique things that they do to avoid. I know for Sylvari they have like this worm thing that sprays out poison. So if you're a melee attacker, you have to switch to range at a particular time, or else you will die of the poison. And like I said, they're all different. They all have their own strategies that you need involved to battle them and to play them. That's about it for PvE. Now, I played all of the races so far. Not all the classes, just the races. And I would say that they're all good as far as starting areas go. The Norn starting area is the only one that I consider like a little bit slower. Not necessarily boring, just slower to get into. It is in like a snowier place, so it seems kind of a bore sometimes. But yeah, other than that, I think all the races have pretty good and unique starting areas. And as far as, since it is launch week, there is a lot of bugs in the game right now. Particularly with the trading post. The trading post is what you would consider the auction house for Guild Wars 2. And this auction house, to my knowledge, is not a server-based. Meaning it is not like WoW, and since that there's an auction house for each realm. Instead, this is a trading post, and it covers all servers. That has been like down and up, and I believe right now it's only up for a certain amount of people at a time. But that's one of like the major bugs, because the auction house is a very easy way to get your mats for your crafting, and it's an easy way to get money. So since that is down, it's down every now and then. For me right now it's up, and for other people it's up. But they're just messing around with it right now, making sure that it would actually work eventually and not crash anything else. But as far as professions go, or as crafting and stuff like that, you defaultly know all three gathering. You know mining and logging, and like, I forgot what the other one is, gathering herbs or whatever. And then you pick, which leaves you to pick two professions to craft, two crafting professions. They don't have blacksmithing. Instead, what they have is armor smithing and weapon smithing to separate them out. They do have the jewel crafter, which is one of the more higher picked professions. A lot of people have jewel crafting. Leather worker, huntsman, and a few others that I can't think off the top of my head. But overall, they're pretty good. I would say that they're like, for, what was it, Perfect Worlds crafting, I wasn't a big fan of. But in WoW, is very simple crafting. You get this and this and this, and you put them together. And it's the same concept for Guild Wars 2. But like I said, since the trading post has been down, it's kind of hard to get those mats, as you have to go and you have to get them yourself. And some people don't like to do that, but it's the lazy man's way out. That's about it as far as PvE goes. The World v World, I'll talk about that since that's like one of the big things in the game. I played some World v World, and after playing it, I can say that it's a, you know how people always say that it's a, that you can level up through it. Well, not only can you level up, but it's actually a pretty good way to level up your character. So if you want to play the game just through World v World, you can do that and get to 80, I would imagine, because you get a lot of XP when you get castles and stuff like that. And if you're up against like some really medium to low population servers that have like little amounts of people, or little amounts of people who play the World v World, then you can like expect to get a lot of XP out of that. And lastly is the dungeons. Guild Wars does have dungeons. It's 5-man dungeons. I played Ascalonian Catacombs, and I have to say that is not easy, especially if you pug it. Those, you will die and you will go down a lot. They are not something that you can just rush through like in WoW. When you do a dungeon, you can queue up for them or whatever, but then you can get through them in about, I would say, 10 to 20 minutes. Depending on the dungeon, you can get through them in about 10 to 20 minutes. For here, it's like a raid, but only with 5 people. The bosses, depending on the boss, can be very difficult, and you will die very often, and you have to walk back. So if your raid wipes, now walking back isn't usually that bad of a thing, as you can just waypoint right back to the boss. But if your raid wipes and the boss resets, then yeah, that's when it becomes a problem. But yeah, that's about it as far as Guild Wars 2 right now. I will be uploading some more live comms for PvP, since they only last, like I said, 10 minutes. But until then, peace out and have a nice day.